now I rebuilt it everything back. So you can see here all the parts has been displayed. The complete video is not available, I think because of phone memory. It got stopped by the end of the time. So here is cross dissection that I made in one of my HPFP to find out how the thread is. So I found out it's a regular thread. Here is a removed solenoid, you can see here, which opens and closes the petrol which goes to the line. So you have to detach it before immersing to the oil. So for that reason I had removed it before in the first one, but this is not usable anymore. You can see the diaphragm around, so here it is, just to have a look. So this is voiceover, so it won't be that much apt to the situation. So you can see here, this is what I'm gonna rebuild. Everything was filled with petrol, so I just used WD-40 to clean up. This is where the rotating part comes, which connects to the vacuum pump. So you can see here, as I have shown in my previous video, this is the oil seal part which you have to replace, just the oil seal, the brown color. Mine was having a little bit of metal debris. I don't know where it came from, but I cleaned that as much as possible. I was not able to take the bearing out, so I just sprayed and used a magnet also to take whatever particles are available in it. But I found only metal debris in one of the HPFP that I opened. I totally opened 3, and only in this one I found out. This was a refurbished one from AliExpress, which was not working. So this is the piston, which is used to compress the spring, which in turn compresses the petrol. So this is the spring, which is lying beneath the compressors. You can see here, this is just to and this is the pendulum, which in turn pushes each fuel compression compartments. One side is sliding in and other side is in. So you can see here oval shape, the other side. In the pendulum there is an oval shape part, which is a part where oil can get in and get out during the compression phase. And this one is just to drive the pendulum. So it's a regular thread, as I have told you in my early video. This the oil seal will get properly seated whenever you push it in. So basically all these parts has to be filled with oil, and try to avoid as much as air in these oil compartments. So this is where you have to replace the seal. You can see here I have removed all the oil seals, O-ring. Sorry, it's not oil seal, O-ring. Just O-ring in the outer side. I'll show you how to put the O-ring. Actually, first time I used O-ring, but it had failed within like 20 kilometers. When I drove for a test drive, it just failed, and the gas went into the oil chamber. That's why I recommend X-ring for the spring compressors. I don't know how long it will go, but till now it's working fine. You can see it's a regular thread, and it's hard metal, so you can use high torque in this one. You have to torque it as much as you can, so that the spring compressor doesn't come up or move, which in turn, if it moves, it will make the petrol get into the oil. I'm just cleaning it. Sorry for that, that's my son. He just keeps on screaming. This is the X-ring. You can see, just put the X-ring properly in, and oil it a little bit, so that when you compress it, it doesn't make any tear or any sort of distortion. In my earlier one, when I used a regular O-ring, there was a tear when I tightened these to the particular chambers. The last part of the video has been missed because I was not able to check if it is recording properly or not. Just oiling the X-rings. So as I told you before I proceed, just bear with me. The last part is not there, as something went wrong, but you will be able to do as majority of the things are covered. The only thing is that screwing part is the only one I have left. So you can see here it has been sealed properly. It has been seated in a nice way. So there is a groove for the X-ring, so it is easy to identify if it has been properly seated or not. And it should be tight fit. Tight fit means when you pull it, it should not come a little bit out, even a little bit out. So it has to be really tight enough. When you push it with high pressure, there is a chance of rubber to tear in between from these chambers. So it has to be that much tight fit. When you start doing this, be ready to get your hand filled with oil, because there is no way without oil spilling here and there. So it's better to do it from an aerated area rather than your bedroom or any closed part. The oil is too stinging, so better to avoid kids around also. My kids were trying to come and see what I'm doing, so I was just pushing them out. So first, the hard spring, which is small, I have to place it in properly in center part. There is a small groove to get it seated properly. So all the 3 hard springs has been installed. As you can see, now is the compressor. So it's a metal compressor. You have to insert it and then tighten it with a special tool. So the area, I'm just oiling it so that it doesn't tear. Most of the work has been done by my dad because he works with all of these kind of things. The knowledge that I have is very limited, so if anything is becoming difficult for me, I just hand it over to him to complete it properly. So even opening these special 3 pistons, he did it. He had cut the side of the HPFP and he was checking how the thread goes in, because a special tool has to be used in proper way, otherwise it would just break. So most of the part was done by him himself. So I'm just holding it to the vise. You need a vise. Without a vise you cannot do this job, and as I told you earlier, you need a special tool. Sorry for the camera position. This is the only way that I can do. So I have done whatever I can with the limited resources that I have. So now you have to fill it with oil so that no air gets into its way. So I'm gonna fill it with oil. It's very difficult to get into the syringe because lid is too tiny to get in. So I better give up. I'll just pour oil directly to these 3. No, it's difficult, so I'll pour it directly. So I'm gonna fill all the 3 chambers with oil. This is just to avoid the chance of air getting in between. About 3/4 of this 3 compartment I have filled with oil, just wrapping around with a cloth so that the oil doesn't fall on the floor. Alrighty, now locking these springs with the screw type. So here is where we need the special tool. So always finish with one and go for the second one. Otherwise there is a chance of hitting when you are using your tool. You can actually make a special tool with a box spanner. It will be more better because you can hold it properly and tighten it in the proper way. The one that I have made I won't recommend because it might slip from your hand. So use a box spanner and go to a welding shop to make a special tool with these 4 leads out. I'll try to make one next time when my pressure pump fails, but for the time being I'll just carry on with this. For completely tightening I have to give more leverage or hammer it so that it is super tight. When you take it out also you have to apply this much pressure, otherwise you won't be able to take it out. So one is done, the other 2 remaining will do the same. The oil seal has been already installed in the rotating part, so I'm not showing that. As you can see in my previous video, I have taken it out. You can put it back in the same fashion, so it is also not a difficult task. Only difficult part is this one, which has been shown in this video. If you encounter any problem, you can just leave a comment and I'll reply you back as fast as possible. But don't ask me about which type of oil to use, because as I told you, I have no clue which one is better. So I tried in Google also. I did not find anything particular after Googling. So it's up to you whichever oil you want to use. If you have a better suggestion, please leave a comment. It will be helpful for those who are there to do the job. So I have one HPFP which has been totally dismantled. Not dismantled, actually we broke it so that we know what's inside. So most of the parts has been taken out by breaking to find out which one is thread, which one can be removed, things like that. So destroying one helped us to build 2 other, and hopefully this will help most out there to rebuild their own without breaking anything. So in here you can see I filled it with oil. Now I forgot to put the sleeve around. You have to put the o-ring around the big one, and see this hole, you have to fill it with oil using a syringe or something like that, and make sure no air remains in that particular slot. It directly goes to the diaphragm, which regulates the pressure, which builds up inside when when the high pressure fuel pump works. So I'll just remove this nozzle and put a different nozzle. This nozzle cannot be used to work on, or let me see. Yeah, I can see the oil dripping. So alright, we can go with this one because it has a plastic lid. It will not break the diaphragm. If I use a normal syringe with a metal pin, it will just break the diaphragm. So I'll go on with this one. And spilling around. Oh my god. Yeah, now see, you have to fill it with oil without any air remaining in it. Even if you fill it in this way, you can see air coming out after a while. So just be patient. Leave it for like half an hour or 1 hour until all the air gets out. You can put something in to make air escape faster. So this is a time-taking process. It doesn't need that much oil, but air can get into different parts, different corners, so it'll be trapping here and there. Sorry, it's taking more time. You can just fast forward if you want. After this, I will remove the solenoid, which has an electrical connection. This solenoid has to be removed with 4 mm hex bit or a 4 mm Allen key before dipping it into the oil. You don't want your electrical things to get tampered with oil. So you can just fast forward this one. As I told you, I'm using voiceover, so it's difficult for me to edit the video, things like that. Actually, I just take the video and combine it. I don't have special software or things like that. I was waiting for my HPFP to fail so that I can rip it open and see what's inside. So this is an opportunity for me. Most of the parts has been failed in my car. Next thing is turbo, and then is a vacuum pump, then is the water pump. I've heard that these are the main parts which fails during the course of time. So can you see the air coming in? Yeah, see? Still air is trapped in, so you just give some time and put a tiny small stick or something like that to make air pass out easily. and Dad is preparing to pour oil into the can. The wooden block is just to support one side will be to make it even. You can see still the air bubbles are coming out. Anyways, I'll be immersing completely in oil for a while, then only I'll start working on it. Oh. Don't forget to put the O-ring. I did not put the O-ring in here. I forgot. I'll be placing it after like dipping it in the oil. I'm talking about the O-ring of the whole compartment, alright? Still, air is coming out. See bubbles? I was not at all ready to spend like $500 to buy this high pressure fuel pump. I tried like 4 or 5 times by repairing, but each time I was failing. So this is the try which I have succeeded. This is 4 mm hex bit or 4 mm Allen key that you have to use to remove the solenoid. Actually, you have to remove the solenoid before you start doing all these. I forgot to do that, so that's the reason I'm doing it now. So as I mentioned to you earlier, you have to remove the solenoid first. I'm a little bit lazy guy, that's why I'm doing it in this way. I was in a hurry to finish the job because the oil was really smelling bad. It has a stinging smell, so it's better to write down each steps what all you need to put back in each step so that you don't get messed up like what I. Just fast forward till I remove the solenoid. It has actually 2 parts. One is holding metal and second part is the solenoid itself. So when you put the flathead screwdriver in to pull it out, make sure you don't damage any parts. So be careful. If you are a DIY guy, you don't have more choice. You are just working with one high pressure fuel pump, so just be calm, take your time. See, I've taken it out. Sorry for the camera position. All right, yeah. Now I'll close that what do you call it? Solenoid part with a tape so that oil doesn't get in. Even if the oil gets in, it's not a big deal. Once the gas or petrol gets in, it will clean away everything. So I did not replace any of this O-ring. I just used the oil on itself. Still air is there. Now cover these two inlet and outlet where petrol gets in and comes out. And also I'll use a sticker, deck tape that I have used for the solenoid part where the solenoid sits. See, air is still there. This is very high viscous oil, so even if you pour the oil into a container, it will have trapped air in it and it will take some time for the air to get out of the oil. So you can imagine why it will be taking this much time to get the oil out through a small hole. Just using a plastic to seal the outlet of petrol. It's a regular rubber band. The inlet also I'm covering it with plastic using a rubber band. Oh my god, still air in there. So now I'm gonna fill the container with oil. Putting the pendulum back in this unit is missing in my video, as I told you before. Next time when I open, I will try to cover it also. This time my camera got stopped in between and I was not able to notice it in between this job. So after this, you fill it with oil, dip this particular unit in. After that, you have to fill the pendulum part, the other side of the other half of the HPFP. Fill it with oil first, then put the pendulum in, then use the the locking nut. These are the springs. Just installing the longer spring and the piston, all the 3 springs, and after this I will put the piston. This is the worst part that I don't like, getting wet with oil. Whenever I'm using a hand glove, I always put a plastic or synthetic hand glove, and after that only I use a cloth hand glove outside of that, so that the oil doesn't come in contact with my skin. It's really irritating. It's very difficult to take it out. Some people have very bad effect when it gets in touch with the skin. So try to use a longer gloves, thicker one.
When you work on this one, so
As I told, I have missed the rest of the parts, so just taking a clip from all the video to show you how. So this is the pendulum part. You have to fill it with oil first and then insert the pendulum, and after that you have to screw it from the other side, the rotating part. So you just fill it with oil by holding with one of your finger the oil seal, and then put the pendulum. Then after putting the pendulum, the oil will not spill out as the o-ring will seal it. And after that, use the other side, tapering thing to tighten it. So this is a video taken from the older video, just to show you. So this is the o-ring. So you have to insert once you set everything, make sure the piston top head doesn't fall out when you insert it in, when you dip it in the oil, and place it properly in the position and screw it. Before you dip it into the oil, make sure you know the alignment, how it comes, so that oil doesn't spill out, and the top of the piston doesn't fall out to the pendulum disc. There is a chance of the top cap to fall out, and when you finish your work, it might damage the whole system. So when you take it, make sure it doesn't fall out, so give enough space, and the proper alignment must be predefined, calculated when you keep it on top and screw it. Yes, thanks for watching. If you have any confusion, as I told you earlier, just message me and I'll give a reply.